about meaningful connections and unpacking the advisor-advisee relationship. There's a reason that the word relationship is so big on this slide. It's because my presentation is going to focus on that part of the advisor-advisee interaction. I don't proclaim to know a whole lot about the academic side, but what I do know is relationships. But before we get into that, I would like to continue my post-holiday tradition. And one of my post-holiday traditions is that I do post-holiday check-ins with the groups that I speak to. And so the check-in goes something like this. I check in with you because I know that holidays can be extremely exciting, fun, and amazing. But on the other side of that, I know that holidays can be hard. And we are a community. We are a community of educators here together, and we are a community. Even though we are different in various parts, we all make up one unit. And with that said, we have to make sure that we are there for each other. So, what you'll learn today about me is that I have what I like to call, and if you're a Baptist, you might know and understand this, a call and response session. Who knows what that means? Just kind of nod your head. Call and response, which means I'll ask questions and you will talk. Okay? This is a shared experience. We are all the experts, and we are here to learn and grow together. But before we get into that stuff, let's check in. So when we check in, what I do is I ask you to do this. I ask you to close your eyes. Close your eyes, and I want you to think back to that very first day of your holiday break. I want you to think about your feelings, your plans, and how that all came together. And I want you to continue to move through the holiday and think about all that occurred while you were on your break. While you have your eyes closed, I want you to continue to think about those highlights, those things that were so wonderful during your break, you just want to share it. And we all have them. But then I want you to think about the lowlights. And those are the things that happened during the break that were not so good, that were not favorable, and they made you feel, won't. Hey, come on in. Now you can open your eyes. Have you captured your highlight moment? Have you captured your lowlight moment? And the reason that I do a highlight moment and a lowlight moment is because life is a dichotomous experience. You have good and bad, you have highs and lows. There is no other way around it. But one of the things that we do as a people is we fail to highlight the low moments. And what I know from personal experience and from research is that we grow on both sides of that dichotomous experience. We grow on the high side and we grow on the low side. But we've been conditioned to not talk about the low side. So, I want to normalize talking about the low side, just like we talk about the high side. All right, so it's call and response. Y'all ready? Yeah. Nod if you're ready. All right, I need a few people to tell me about their Christmas or holiday highlight. Anybody? Okay.
Well, when I left here on that last day, I went and got some stuff at Walmart because my family and I were going to Disney World.
Oh, wow.
The day after. So I was
Yes.
really excited. So that was my highlight.
Thank you. I feel like I just experienced that with you. Next, highlight.
I got to look forward to 10 days back with my 1-year-old granddaughter.
Oh, wow. That is a highlight. I'm very family oriented, so anytime that I spend with them is just like being in Disney World. Mm-hmm. Next, another highlight.
I have a 3-year-old son, and he got a little bike with training wheels for Christmas this year. And this was the first year that he really got Santa and got Christmas and everything.
Wow.
So just to see the magic was the highlight.
To see it
Yes,
through
to
his
see
eyes.
his
That's
little face.
beautiful. I
Yeah.
have a nephew and he's 2 and I bought him a tricycle for Christmas and they live in Houston, Texas, but they sent me video and I was like, to experience Christmas like children is like having candy every day, or if you like popcorn or cake every day. So it did wonders for me. Let me get another highlight. Don't be afraid. Come on, one
Mine's
more.
similar to hers. Just I have a 4-year-old, so same thing. Like Christmas is kind of clicking, but him rounding the corner on Christmas morning and seeing, like this little train engine, right? And he's like, oh my gosh, and playing with that for hours. It was magical.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I love it. You have something to share?
My highlight was moving into my first house.
Yeah.
That's a highlight.
Yes. And if y'all didn't know, she just got married in September, so she's having she has the year of yes. The year of yes in 2021. So that's great. I want to share a high moment from my life. I am not married and I don't have any children. So my family came to my home for Christmas. And as I just told y'all, I love my family so. That is, when I say it was just like going to Disney World, it was so fabulous for me. I love spending time with them, and because of COVID, all of that has been just upended. And we have to be really careful because of some of the elements that are in my family. But we had the opportunity to spend about a third of us Christmas together, and it was absolutely amazing. And I love that. All right? Now, let's talk about low moments because we all had them. Or some of us did. Low moments.
I'm going to segue because they're having their children have their first real Christmas. My boys are old enough now. This is our first not. They kind of are too old in this
Oh my
time. And it wasn't such a bummer, but just kind of like, oh, is that gone now?
Yeah.
So that was a low
Yeah.
for us.
They didn't really want to get up at 2 o'clock.
Oh no, they want to still get up at 6. We did say 6 o'clock, but you just know that they know. And it's just kind of, the end of that run.
Yeah, that is a low life.
Yeah, it's
when
a
you
bummer.
kind of realize your children are kind of like over that part.
I have a mix. I have 2 older ones and 2 younger ones. So the younger ones did have that.
Oh wow.
Those ones that already looked at Amazon and saw everything that they already reviewed. So on my phone. So they already knew everything that they were getting, and they had already been in the closet digging around. I just had to get through it with them. They were still got up at 5 with the little ones though, and I did it. And I was
Interesting.
struggling. I got mixes. I got good and struggles. Yeah.
That was good though. I like that.
So we're alive.
Low lights.
Well, my son is 4, but he has autism.
Uh-huh.
So he helped me wrap everything.
Oh wow.
So then when it was time to unwrap things on Christmas Day, he had a meltdown because he felt it should still be wrapped.
Yes, that is very different.
But once we got everything unwrapped while he was screaming, he was happy.
Yes. I like that. Thank you for sharing that because Christmas can be exciting and sad at the same time. And it's okay. It's okay. Another low light?
We had COVID there.
Oh.
So, not being able to spend time with family.
I bet that was hard. Yeah. Anybody else?
Well, I've been married before, and my first husband passed away on December 23rd, 2001.
Oh wow.
So I'm remarried and I have children and stuff, but I always kind of think about that.
Yes. Because that's
It's
a
not
real
like it used to be.
connection.
It's not like it's like kills me, but it just kind of is weird. I don't know.
Yeah.
When I hear certain songs on the radio, I
Yeah.
remember being in the hospital, and I remember the things I felt. I don't know
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
it
But
does
it's
make
not,
sense.
not nearly as intense as it used to be. And I think a lot of people struggle during the holidays because they, of people they miss.
Yes.
And they remember.
And I'm so
things
glad
they
you
did.
shared that,
Yeah.
because that's big.
Yeah.
That's big. I'm glad you shared that, because with COVID, we've lost so many people, and we've lost so much time. And so again, it's important that we highlight those low light moments as well as those highlight moments, and put that dichotomous relationship together as we grow. Because I hear that you're healing, and that's why it's not so intense as it was before. And you can hear those songs now, and it doesn't take you where it took you in the beginning. So that's a place of healing. So thank you guys so much for sharing. I will tell you, my low moment was that all of my siblings were not able to come home. And I'm especially close to one of my nieces, and yeah, I make it be known, we're just like simpatico, we're so much alike. And her family were not able to come because they all had COVID as well. So that was a low moment, but we all made it through. And then I was sad when they left. So yeah. So thank y'all so much for participating in that portion of the workshop. I know some of y'all may have said that didn't even have anything to do with anything, but I think it's important that we are reminded that even though we are in different departments, we are still one. And we are here to cheerlead each other on when we are having successes, and we are here to support each other when we're having low moments or failure moments. And so we are each other's cheerleaders and supporters, and we have to be reminded of it. So on to the reason you came today. All right, so the purpose for this session today is to explore the relational dynamics of an effective advisee relationship and its connection to student success. Y'all like how I threw that in? We are the Success Center, so yeah, to student success. And again, I'm going to focus on the relational part of it. So one more time, I want you to go here with me. I want you to track with me for a minute. I want you to take a moment in your mind, and I want you to think back to your educational journey. I want you to think about elementary school, middle school, and some of us it was junior high, that'd be me. Junior high school, high school, and college. I want you to just think about that. And while you're thinking about that, I want you to think about those school adults or personnel, whether it was teachers, coaches, custodial staff, secretaries. I want you to think about all of them, and I want you to pick out a few of your favorites. Now I need you to think for a minute. I need you to think. Elementary or preschool. Go back. Preschool, elementary, or primary. See, you know, things change. Some of you guys remember preschool versus primary. Preschool, primary, elementary, middle school, high school, college. I want you to think about that. I want you to pick out your faves. Y'all got it? Got your faves? If you have your faves in mind, because you maybe had more than one, I know I did. Nod your head. Okay? So here's the response part. As you think about your faves on your educational journey, what was it about them that made them your favorite? Anybody?
I think looking back now, Carlina Benjamin's mother was actually my teacher in the
Oh,
grade,
wow.
Mrs. Holmes. And I think she made every student feel like they were her favorite.
Oh, I love that.
Like, I don't think I saw that as a fourth grader, but looking back now, I think that's why everybody loved hers, because she made every student.
I have a friend.
There
like
wasn't
that.
a teacher's pet, everybody.
Everybody was a pick. Yeah. Anybody else? Your fave. What was it about them? And I want to piggyback off that because I've seen that in real time. Because sometimes you feel like those days are over. But I've seen it where all children in one class, they all think they're the teacher's favorite. Let me tell you what it looks like. You're at maybe a school, something in the auditorium, maybe they're having some type of, maybe a DARE program or something, and everybody's fighting to sit beside the teacher. I was sitting here. I said, I told her, I sent her a little note. I said, everybody likes you, but that's important. Come on, y'all had some faves.
I guess I seem to like the teachers the best that I could respect.
Okay, tell us more.
It's just that, like they were in control of their classroom,
Mm-hmm.
and we knew that what they said
Mm-hmm.
was to be relied upon. They weren't wishy-washy. They didn't go back on what they said. They set the rules, and that's the way that things went.
It was clear.
Mhm.
That communication was clear. Yeah, those teachers reminded me of my mom.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Heads up. Good, good.
Mm-hmm. Both of them.
That's like, oh, both of them.
Yeah. I have prizes for you. Heads up. That's a little stress ball. Little stress ball. All right. So come on. Your faves.
I think, well, I'm thinking about my advisor in college, but she normalized my not knowing, and that was so relieving for me because I felt like everybody there was expecting me to know stuff that I didn't know, and she was like, it's okay. She let me know that she was human and that she understood my humanness, and that was big in that phase of my life because I didn't know.
That's huge. Because a lot of times we have our students and we forget that they're still students. And that's all of us. That's why I say we forget that they're still students. And they just came out of high school. They're used to somebody just telling them everything to them. That's big. Another fave.
Back to what she was saying, my fourth grade teacher, she was about my height, so not quite 5 feet. She only weighed like 90 pounds, but she had everybody's respect. And we knew not to rain on her parade because she would say, don't rain on my parade. Shake up and ship out, and you know, but she would reward us, you know, as we did what we were supposed to do. And the other teachers were afraid of her, our parents were afraid of her. But we weren't afraid of her. But I mean, if we messed up, she was gonna make us sit in the room, even though the bell had rung and it was time to go home. And our parents, they would know what happened because they wouldn't come looking for us. I mean,
I love it.
And then she would let us out, and parents never complained because she had everybody's respect.
But she made you a partner in that.
And then my 12th grade English teacher, she made sure we were ready for college because she lectured as an English professor would. And the papers we wrote, 11th and 12th grade, we were ready. And, so when I got to college, I knew what to expect because of her. Her tests were horrible. I mean, they were tough. We would have to come back after school to finish her tests sometimes. But when we got to college, we knew.
Don't you
what
love
to do.
that?
So,
Don't you love that?
absolutely.
Anybody else with a fave? And then I'm gonna tell you about 2 of my faves. I got several, but
2 parts. The relationship's a key word. One for the folks that I had. Relationship being, that was meant the students feel like they were important. Not necessarily like they're the favorite at the time, but they just know that they were important and it wasn't just a class with numbers and we had to get through this lecture. And so that was one. And the second thing is you could tell that they enjoyed teaching what they enjoyed whatever, their field, that class, what they enjoyed that material.
I like that. Because everything that you guys have said about your faves, it all goes back to the relationship. They made sure you understand, they initiated a relationship and they made sure you understood it. And they made sure that you knew that you were important to them. Whether they were saying, if you don't do this, this is going to happen, or if you do this, it's going to happen. Whether they taught you on a level where they wanted you to be ready for the next level. I had a teacher in high school, her name was Miss Bozeman, and she has gone home to be with the Lord. And she taught algebra. See, back then it was just algebra. There was only one path to graduation: algebra, trig, whatever. You didn't have all that. So she taught algebra, but she would always say, I'm just getting y'all ready for college. I'm just getting you ready for college. She repeated that all the time. I got sick of hearing it. But you know what she did? She made me think I could really go to college. Because she kept saying, and she said it all the time, and other students would talk about it. Oh, you know, Miss Boseman's going to say, blah, 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 blah. But she put us in that mindset. And because she knew what she was doing, we bought in. The buy-in for what she said was very high. So, another one I had was I was in undergrad. And I was trying to decide, well, I thought I had decided what I was going to do after I left undergrad. I knew I was going to graduate school because I knew that what I wanted to be a sociologist. I love the study of social problems. I was sold out on it. And she was one of my lead teachers in the department, and she was 4'11". But when she stood up and she started to talk, she never had to say, get quiet. Everybody just got quiet. She had a commanding space. But we were talking as we had done over the years, and I said, well, she said, well, what are you going to do next? I know you've been considering some things, and I didn't want to say what I thought. I just wanted you to kind of figure that out. And I said, I'm going to be a sociologist. I love research. I love social problems. I'm going to school in Carbondale, Illinois. I've already been accepted, the whole 9 yards. And she said, okay. And I said, what? Are you not proud of me? She said, I'm extremely proud of you, Nickeda. Because she would use my name and she would really enunciate it. She said, I'm extremely proud of you, Nickeda. She said, and in my heart of hearts, I know that if you decide to be a sociologist, you will be absolutely outstanding at it. She said, but here's a thought. I want you to consider this. She said, you are very people-oriented. You are kind. You have a heart for people. You work well with others. Have you ever thought about being a counselor? And I said, no, absolutely not. And she said, well, you know, again, I think that you're going to be fabulous should you decide to be a sociologist. She said, but as your advisor, I think it is my role in your life to tell you what I see in you that I don't think you see in yourself. So just consider it. Now, mind you, I'd already gotten into school, and I was going to school in Illinois because I like new adventures. And I thought about it, and I said, and it was late in the year, like close to graduation. And I thought about it, I said, well, I'm gonna apply to one school. And if I get in, I'll go. Because I trusted her just that much. So if I get in, I'll go. One school, got in right at the deadline. Kid you not. That letter came back so quick that I had gotten in. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. And with that one connection, my life turned on a dime, and I went to Delta State. And I got my first degree in counseling. So I said all that, and we said all that to talk about how important this is to student success and student learning. If you are not doing this, I want to challenge you to start doing that. One of my goals here today as well is to help you believe that you cannot effectively educate our students without a relationship with them. So, I want to start right here. This is what Nickeda says about relationships, about academic advising. Because I'm going to tell y'all something. The last 2 days I did a deep dive in Nickeda and several other places. Do you guys know what Nickeda is, by the way? This is like the National Center for all things academic advising. So if you should ever have a question about how to work with particular students, you can go to Nickeda and they have a clearinghouse. And I mean, it is full of information and it's all about academic advising. So when I started doing a deep dive, I couldn't find this terminology. So anybody that's getting a PhD, here's a gap in the research. But what I could find was roles and responsibilities. And then what they say about academic advising. So Nickeda says, and we use Nickeda here. Is that not correct? So Nickeda says academic advising takes place in situations in which an institutional representative, y'all see that word, representative, I'm gonna go back to that. Institutional representative gives insight or direction to a college student about an academic, social, or personal matter. The nature of this direction might be to inform, suggest, counsel, discipline, coach, mentor, or even teach. That's a lot, isn't it? The nature of this direction might be to inform, suggest, counsel, discipline, coach, mentor, or even teach. Advisors teach students, and this is my favorite part, how to make the most of their college experience. If you don't remember anything else in this whole thing, I implore you to remember advisors teach students how to make the most of their college experience. Now y'all think about that. I take off my jacket, I'm hot. So y'all think about that. This is our role here. That's what Nickeda says that we're supposed to do. Y'all think about it? Okay. So I wanted to tell you what the definition of a relationship is. The way in which two or more concepts, objects, and or people are connected, or the state of being connected. So we go back to that connectedness. So let me just throw a counseling plug in here because I'm a counselor and I love what I do. The number one, and I need everybody to hear this, and I need you to remember this. The number one mental health protective, and that's how you take care of your mental health or somebody else's, is connectedness. The number one mental health protective is supportive relationships. So I would argue to say you cannot do this without what we just passed by, that connectedness. I would say you can try to do all of this and you will have students in your office and they'll go, yeah. And they'll write some stuff down on the paper and blah, blah. And then they'll come back the next week and you'll say, Brittany, how did that go? Well, I knew it. My personal favorite.
They wrote it down. That's a miracle they wrote it down.
Oh, yeah, I made it. I pushed a piece of paper and I said, write this down.
There you go.
And then I looked to make sure they actually writing what I need, because I've seen some stuff in my years in education what students will do and you think they write down something, they just doing this. So I look and I'll say, flip it around, let me see. So anyway, yeah. I'm telling y'all, I can tell you stories, but we don't have the time. So you say, Brittany, how did it go last week? You and I discussed so-and-so. And Brittany, you say what to me? Absolutely. Absolutely. Or what did Brittany say to you? We discussed so-and-so. What did she say to you? Like one of your advisees. And you know. I lost my paper.
Can you tell me what you said again?
And my two personal favorites, because I've been here 6 months and I normally tell people it's my anniversary. My two personal favorites is, can we use that piece, your paper? And the reason they ask me, because they know I make a copy of it. And I'm like, can you bring your own paper? So that means you didn't do it. Or, I had stuff to do. I was busy. I said, this was a part of this stuff you had to do. So the buy-in is really low. I argue to say that the buy-in is very low to them actually completing the information or doing the things that you guys discussed without the relational part of this interaction. Would you agree or not agree? The buy-in is low. How are you going to be all this right here to somebody that doesn't know you, doesn't care to know you, without initiating and developing the relationship? How are you going to do it? Anybody going to answer?
You can't do it well.
You will struggle. Anybody struggle with it before? And you know, this is a safe space. Anytime you're in a room with a counselor, it's a safe space. Anybody struggle with it? Yeah. It is because you have to, in my opinion, and according to the research, you have to initiate and at least attempt to develop the relationship. And the reason I say attempt is because some students are just not going to connect until they hit their head against that wall 55 times and they come back to you and say, well, you tried to help me. Have y'all heard that before? And I didn't listen. But they come back to you because that one word they said, you tried. So they came back because you tried. But if you're going to do all of this, where am I? If you're going to inform, suggest, counsel, discipline, coach, mentor, or even teach, you have to put in the work to develop or initiate, or at least try to initiate relationships with your student. And it has to start with you and me. Because they don't know. They don't know. It has to start with you and me. They don't know. If you engage with a student on any level, and here's where I want you to remember this part, institutional representative. If a student stops you at the garbage can and start having a conversation with you about their life, if they talk to you about 1, 2, or 3, and they ask you what you think or you provide information, look, if you suggest, counsel, or inform, guess what you have officially become? What? Let me hear it. Advisor. So everybody on this campus is an advisor. We could have packed this room out. Because everybody on this campus, we're all advisors. Cafeteria workers, our custodial staff. I hear students talking to our custodial personnel all the time, and she gives them the best advice. So everybody, I kid you not, she does. And then my favorite things, if she doesn't know something, she'll say, well, I don't know. Let me walk right here and ask. I'm gonna go down the hallway and ask. And I think to myself, if I could give her a gold star, I would. So at any given time, we're all advisors. We're all advisors. So we are charged with doing inform, suggest, counsel, discipline, and we have a hard time with that. Discipline, coach, mentor, or even teach our students. Because our overall thing is to teach students how to make the most of their college experience. There it is again. College experience. So that tells you that what you do is beyond this right here. Because a lot of times we want to get stuck in our discipline. But this definition says that what you do is beyond this. This definition says that it's your job to get in their business. It's your job to see if they're making friends or if they're having, separation anxiety from home. It's your job to know if they're okay or not okay. Because we're here to teach these people how to make the most of their what? Let me hear you.
College experience.
Call and response. Y'all forgot. Call and response. Okay. Yeah. All right. So I got to get faster. So we've talked about the power of relationships just in the first part of this. And I just wanted to show y'all some quotes I grabbed about it. Strong relationships with instructors and support staff can dramatically enhance students' level of motivation, therefore promoting learning. Students who have access to more strong relationships are more academically engaged, have stronger social skills, and experience more positive behavior. Isn't this what you want for your students? Or if you had a child going to college, is this not what you would want for your child? Relationships are powerful. Strong relationships provide a foundation for student engagement, belonging, and ultimately learning. The more high quality relationships students have with their teachers, the better their engagement in school. That's what the research says, y'all. And not only that, you have confirmed that. How did you confirm that? You talked about those teachers who made the difference for you. You confirm what the research says. And then the last one, research shows that students who feel safe and supported by adults in school are better able to learn. That's what they come here for, this part. Emotion and learning are connected to student success. That's what we do, student success. All right. So as you are moving into this term with your students, if you have not initiated relationships, I want you to make that the number one thing you do with your students. I want you to make sure you do that, because when you do that, the buy-in for all that stuff we try to get them to do is higher. And I know in your mind you may be thinking, I just don't have time for it. How am I going to figure this out? Takes time to do this, takes time to do that. I'm going to argue that fact with you in just a minute. Relationship building should be intentional, which means you should intentionally make sure that you're connected. Which means you should say, I'm going back and I'm gonna send an email, do a post in my group to make sure my students know I'm here. Meaningful should add value to their lives. When you add value to their lives, they will show up and show up and show up and show up and show up. And you'll think, my God, you've been here 5 days this week. And you don't even have to come on Friday. And it should be impactful. It should impact them in a way where when they go back to their rooms and they're struggling, and their friends say, you know, I'm having a hard time with so-and-so, they should be like, go see Miss Hatcher because she helped me do A, B, C, D, E, F, G. That's how you know it's impactful. Students give us credibility. And consistently engaging. Should always be engaging. Every now and again, check in with them. Send them an email, you know. And then additionally, it includes a two-way interaction. You have to tell them, this is a two-way street. I can't be in a relationship by myself. I don't know how you do that. So you have to tell them, we do this together. This is a shared, and that was the first thing I told y'all when we came in today. We're doing this together. This is a shared experience. And you have to tell your students that, because they don't know. They're just used to the teacher telling them in high school and elementary, they told you, you did. Now, how this evolves is this becomes a shared learning experience. So we have to show them how to do that. So how do we do that? We provide clear and consistent communication. We are clear, and I heard y'all say about those teachers, they were clear. Clear. You want to tell them what your role is, because they don't know what an advisor does. We know that because they come in and tell us all the time, don't they? Success people. They don't know. So you have to tell them what it is you do, what your role is. You got to be clear with them about what your expectations are and what your limitations are. Because now, we've been at home all over the Christmas break, and we got 27, 28 email messages just like we never went on break. So you got to be clear and consistent, and then you got to practice honesty with students. And what I mean by that is you got to tell them when they're not meeting they're not meeting your expectation or their own. When they're doing things that are great, you got to talk about. We don't have a problem talking about that, but we got to talk about what is not right. And when we're not doing well, we have to be honest with our students, because that's how we teach resiliency. When they say, Dr. Shelton, what's wrong? And I say, oh, nothing, that tells me it's not teaching them anything. But if they say, Dr. Shelton, what's wrong? And I say, I had a bad morning, but it's going to be okay. I'm starting to teach them resiliency as well. And then you gotta be reliable. If you tell them to come at 1, please be there at 1. Please be on campus. Please be there. They gotta be reliable. They gotta be able to say, you know what? When I go see Miss Quigley, she's there. When she tells me she's gonna be there, what she says she's gonna do, if she says she's going to email 10:02, she's done that. Gotta be reliable. Must practice mutual respect because again, this is an evolution. We're evolving with the relationship, so we're going to teach them what the mutual respect, because this is a shared experience. I'm almost done. And then you have to foster confidence and be confident. You have to be confident in what you're doing with them in developing their relationship. But then you have to foster confidence in them. How do you do that? You talk to them about their little wins. Even if it's time where you maybe you didn't fail. So next term you can make a C. You did great at this. Didn't make the 100, but you made the 85 or the 75. And then sometimes I see this and we don't have enough of this. And with COVID, the season of COVID, too much has happened for us not to have enough of this. We are all human, and I'm going to implore you to use compassion. I got 3 minutes. So, with all of that, I hope that I've done a few things. 1, I hope that I have persuaded you that developing relationships is important. 2, I hope that I have shown you that when you do that, students flourish in such a way that they become our recruiters. They tell their friends about us, they tell their parents, their cousins, and they want to come here. They learn, they grow, they graduate. And 3, my last thing, I hope that I begin a new relationship with each one of you. Thank you so much.